Good morning. Welcome to Canvas Corner. We'll let people get on, give it a couple minutes before we get started. If you can let me know that you can see and hear me, that would be greatly appreciated, just so I know everything's working. If you see me like look up or over, it's because I have a screen over here that shows the comments. So if I'm not looking at the screen, that's why. So yeah, let me know if you can see and hear me, please. Today's Canvas Corner, we're gonna talk about assignments. So it will be, thank you, Katie. We're gonna talk assignments. So it will be something different today. Just so we are all aware, below in the YouTube description should be the slide deck. So that you can see everything. And also, just so you're aware, in the slide deck is everything we've ever talked about on Canvas Corner. So every week that we've done is on here. So just know that a lot of them are skipped slides. That's just to keep it going. So we'll give people just a minute to get on. How is everybody this morning? Sun is shining. It's supposed to be warm today. Good? All right, we are going to get started. I know there's about a 10-second delay. So welcome to Canvas Corner. Today we're going to talk about assignments. Again, below is the slide deck, and just know that in the slide deck is everything we've ever talked about Canvas. So a lot of the slides are hidden, but everything is there for you. So today we're going to talk about assignments and all the possibilities that Canvas has to offer in terms of ways to create assignments. So when you go in to assignments, it looks the exact same as a page and discussion looks. So if you've watched Canvas Corner before, you know that I tend to go back and forth. Just a reminder to get to Canvas, sbcsc.instructure.com will be there, or you can just go to Google, and in your 9-dot waffle, you can scroll down and find Canvas that way. And then it'll have you log in, and then you'll also be in your Canvas. So if you've watched Canvas Corner before, I work in an unpublished course so that it's not really seen by anybody. This wants me to always take tours. So if you have not watched Canvas Corner before, and if we talk about something that you're like, hold on, I don't even know what that means, all of our previous Canvas Corners are on YouTube. You can watch them anytime. So over here today, we're talking about assignments. So we'll click on assignments, and we'll click add assignment. And again, it looks just like the discussions and the pages look. So you have your text, you have your size, bolding, underlining, colors, highlights, all of that. Inserting links and images and media straight from your Google Drive, right? And all of your alignment. So everything looks the exact same as a page does. You still have down here your accessibility checker. You can drag it to make it bigger, so it fits the screen, things like that. That is all down there. So what changes on the assignment is what's further below. So you have your points, right? So let's make up an assignment. We're just gonna call this, we'll call it the bell ringer. And we're gonna have them write a paragraph summarizing the story we read today. That's what we'll do. I'm a previous English teacher, so I tend to resort to English examples. However, summarizing is able to be taught in every content area. So I want them to write a paragraph summarizing the story we read today. I want to make sure I include the points that I want it to be. We're going to go, it's a summary. So, we're just going to say 5 for an example. I want to make sure my assignment group is the same. So one thing is that Canvas allows you to sync to PowerSchool, right? So all your grades in Canvas every night can go over to PowerSchool, which is different than Google Classroom, as we know. One thing you want to do is make sure that your assignment groups are the same as your categories in PowerSchool. So if you have a category for quizzes and you have a category for bell ringers, you want to make sure those are the same, and you can do that through that new group button. You're going to want to, how do you want to display your grade? Do you want it to be a percentage? Do you want it to be complete, incomplete, or points, a letter grade? Do you not want it graded, right? Sometimes we just want a quick check-in or a check for understanding that we may not want graded. So we'll leave it at points. You also have the ability to not count this assignment toward the final grade if you would like to do that. The next thing is, how do you want them to submit their artifact? You can choose no submission. You want them to be able to see the assignment, but you're going to have them submit on Flipgrid, or you're going to have them submit on paper in class. Who knows, right? You can have them submit online, which provides you a bunch of options. A text entry, which is just, it's probably what I would check mark for this one, because I just kind of want them to type right there. They can turn in a website URL. This may be if they insert a Google Doc or insert a Google slide, or they create their own web page and they want to insert that URL. Or I'm asking them to find me 3 credible sources. I may have them submit the 3 sources. They can submit using a media recording. I want them to create a video explaining to me or showing me the lab today that we did, or sharing their hypothesis, right? I want them to give me I want them to explain to me their thought process while solving a problem. So media recordings or file uploads, if they want to submit a file that's on their desktop or through Google Classroom or Google Drive, I'm sorry. How many times do you want them to be able to submit? Do you want it to be an unlimited amount? They can continually submit. You want to provide feedback. I would maybe have the unlimited on there for the sake of like feedback, right? If I want to provide feedback and have them resubmit, I would leave it as unlimited or limited. You can say you only want them to submit it once, etc. You can turn it into a group assignment. I love this idea. So you can turn it into a group assignment. This is great for especially like our hybrid right now, right? And our virtual, because it still gets students collaborating even when they are outside of the brick and mortar classroom. So by clicking on the group assignment, you can assign grades to each student individually, which is an awesome best practice to have, right? We all were in one of those school group projects that you did the entire thing and every single person in the group got an A, and you were like, hey, they just sat there the whole time, I did everything. So I really like that Canvas gives you the option to assign a grade to each student individually. You can also set up different group categories. This water cooler is from a previous Canvas corner, but you can set up categories and have those groups set. So if you have certain small groups that you always meet with, they would be listed there. I saw a really cool thing on Facebook where they call them like, what was it? Like the Brilliant Broncos, or like that's the one that I can remember. But they always had like positive names and like that alliteration. And so they always met with them, right? So the teacher always met with the Brilliant Broncos at 10 a.m. on a Thursday for their small group. So those could all be in here, and you can create those new group categories. Another thing that I love that you can do with assignments on here is these peer reviews. I didn't want students to turn anything in unless it's been a peer review, like peer reviewed, at least in the English classroom. And I also taught my students how to effectively peer review and not just look at this and tell me it's great, right? Like, how are we giving criticism effectively and in a nice way, a polite way, right? So you can require peer reviews, and again, you can manually assign them. So I can say, student A, I want Sally with Joe, or I can have Canvas automatically do it. And I would kind of pick and choose between these. Sometimes I knew who I wanted to peer review, and sometimes I even allowed them to choose and I would manually input it. But sometimes I would just let it automatically go for it. And you can choose, I want this many people to review it, and I want it to be completed by this date. And then also you can have them appear anonymously, which I really enjoyed this when the students didn't know who were going to peer review them, like if I didn't let them choose, because then you have no idea. Sorry, I'm at Edison today helping with teacher handout, MacBook handouts. So we might have some bells. So peer reviews can appear anonymously, which I really liked. One thing you do have to make sure now in this technology world is that they also don't have their name on the document. You know, when I was in school, we always had to have that header, no matter if it was in Google Drive. Sometimes in my own classroom, I would have my students title it with their name. So if you want stuff to appear anonymously, you want to make sure all those names are taken out. So then this is the part that we were just talking about. If you want it to be included in your nightly sync to PowerSchool, you want to check mark this so that it can be synced. As Ms. Singleton said in the chat, if you want it to link to PowerSchool, you have to pull on the groups from PowerSchool so they are connected. So we want to make sure that occurs up at the top. So PowerSchool, Ms. Singleton, correct me if I'm wrong, you do not necessarily have to create these groups then, right? Like PowerSchool will bring them over for us. Is that correct? Or do you need to create the groups and make sure they match PowerSchool? Or will PowerSchool pull it for you? And I know I'm on a delay, so I'm trying to give her a chance to answer. So then we'll give her a chance to answer. This is really a cool part about how you can assign things in Canvas. It allows you to really easily differentiate or do accommodations and modifications for ELLs, IEPs, etc. So you can easily just assign to everyone, right? You can assign to a section. You can assign to a mastery path, which we won't probably get into mastery paths, or you can assign to direct students. And I have no students in this course, so I can't really show that. But if I did not want to do everyone, and I just wanted, like Chase Sleesman, I always use him, Chase Sleesman to do it, I would add his name in here. And then I would add anybody else that I would want. So Chase and Seth and etc. And I would tell them their due date. Since I don't have students, it's not going to show that way, but it's okay. And then if you have like a small group, right? So if I have Chase and Seth and Mary all in one group and they get time and a half, I can do that. And then I would click add and I would make the other one be everyone else and put in their date as well. So you can show your due date, when do you want it to be due? The really cool thing is that Canvas will tell you and mark everything late for you. So that's kind of nice. And then if you want students to not see it until a certain time, or you want it to be turned off at a certain time, you have those options as well. I liked these options when I would do like timed writing, when we were working on like test prep and things like that. But the due date is usually what I use the most, so that we made sure that everything was due. So in terms of PowerTeacher Pro, Miss Singleton says, create the groups in PowerSchool first, then pull them over. I believe it is in the setup, and I would suggest doing this at the beginning of each semester. Perfect. Thank you, Miss Singleton. And I will, we will work on a how-to guide, or like a beginning of each semester. If you're using Canvas, here are the things that you need to remember to do, and get that out for sure. So again, remember that like if you're not quite done with an assignment, you can click save. But if you want people to be able to see it, you need to click that save and publish button. Oh, it wants me. This is what happens when you click all the buttons, because it now wants me to do a bunch of stuff. So save and publish. So then it is published. I can see it. I can see the peer reviews that occur, and I can see the speed grader, which is in a couple weeks, we'll talk about all of the cool things that the grading has to or works with. Again, so remember I put a text entry box. One thing I don't think I mentioned is that you could click all of these and give them options. You don't have to just choose one. You can only choose one on the no submission, on paper, etc. But you can choose all of these options and online. Another thing is if you choose external tool, there are a bunch of different ones that you can choose from. So for example, if you want them to turn in something using Khan Academy or Pear Deck or YouTube, those are all in there. I will say that we'll focus on this a little bit more in upcoming weeks. And if you want to know more about this, there are those previous Canvas workshops that occurred that you can watch as well. So as always, if I want to know, what it looks like from the student end, I will click student view. And now it wants me to go through this. But this is what the students will look like. If I click submit assignment, this is what it'll look like. So I can click text entry, so I can find a file right on my device. I can just type in my summary. Typed summary goes here. I can do a website URL. I can record myself. And then they also have that I can find my Google Drive. I can find my Google Drive and submit work that way as well. So if I submit the assignment, oh, look at that confetti. That's so nice. If you don't want that to happen, it's in your settings. So if I leave student view, you can now see that I have 0 of 1 submission graded. And then I can go in and grade. So I can also add rubrics down here if you have a rubric for something, but we'll get into grading in a couple of weeks. So we talked about these, right? We talked about matching our PowerSchool categories and things like that. We talked about all the different options for online submissions. We have the external tool submission. That, again, allows you a variety of outside websites. It adds to your functionality. So again, if you are interested in that external tool type, I would watch Woody's Canvas and Google Together recording. He does a really great job showing all those different ways that Google integrates with Canvas by view only, share and collaborate, and making a copy for each student. It literally kind of mimics the Google Classroom route, but Woody does a great job. So I suggest watching that if you want to know more about that. We talked about group assignments and peer reviews. We talked about making sure we sync it to PowerSchool and assigning it to everybody. So I know that went fast, right? That was like 20 minutes. Easy, bite size. One thing I do want to show you is on our homepage. Remember, we were linking these things, right? This is what all of our students would see. And so if we want to go to a bell ringer, we can just click it and it would take them there, right? So one thing you can do is you can also do that with assignments. So let's say I want my Tuesday bell ringer. Well, yeah, we read a novel on Monday, apparently. So my Tuesday bell ringer, I want to be the assignment we just created. So I would click on the little link guy and I would click on course links. And it's going to come up just like we had previously talked about, but I can click on assignments and it tells me here's my bell ringer that I made due for March 12th. I really like this aspect where it shows like when it's due because, you know, a lot of us just call everything bell ringer this, bell ringer that, and sometimes we forget which is which. So by showing the due date, I can be like, oh, that is for this week. Awesome. I click it and it does it for me. Link's right there. Good to go. Save it. And now my students can click on bell ringer and it takes them directly to their assignment for the day. Yes, grading Google submissions in Canvas is even easier than in Classroom. I love that. Miss Singleton and Miss Calhoun are like my Canvas spokespeople. They've used it. They love it. They're my testimonies. They're my customer client testimonies. So what questions do you have about assignments, about Canvas in general at this point? Remember, I am 100% sold on this bite-size idea. I don't want to give you more every week. I'm not trying to give you too much. Oh, I found that when I assigned to individual groups, it wouldn't automatically sync to PowerSchool. Do you mean Miss Churchill? I apologize if I say your guys' names wrong. I just do my best. When you click on the assignment group and you assign to individual groups this way, it wouldn't automatically sync? Or do you mean like having a group assignment? When I go to the bottom. Oh, when you assign to smaller groups, and even though you check mark this, I know I'm on a lag, so I'm trying to give a minute to get an answer. That's interesting if that's the case. If when you assign to, oh, interesting. I will look into that for you because I wonder why it's doing that. I will reach out to Canvas and see if there's something we don't know. Yeah. Okay. I'll look into that and get back to you. I have a meeting with Canvas today, so I'll add it to our agenda. Any other questions in terms of creating assignments or Canvas in general at this point? We've talked about, you know, a lot of these different things now. We've talked about discussions, we've talked about modules and pages, and now assignments. Next week is going to be, in 2 weeks, I'm sorry, we are moving these to every other week, will be quizzes. But again, I just like giving you guys small chunks. One, because I know we're all just trying to survive to spring break, right? and there's a lot going on. So I don't want to, I have no intention of ever taking this full hour. I just want to give you short pieces, allow you to play with assignments for the rest of the week, actually 2 weeks. Watch any other things that you want to on Canvas in terms of anything we've talked about or anything we've missed or the previous trainings by Canvas. Play with it and then come back and ask questions. My goal with Canvas Corners is to make sure that you guys feel prepared to start using Canvas if you choose to in the fall. I am a firm believer in Canvas, especially in the secondary classroom. I used it in my own classroom. So I just want to make sure that we are making sure you guys are all prepared. So I'm here to answer any questions if you have it, or if you want to see anything specifically, I am happy to show it to you. I will also show you that on YouTube, if you go to our videos. Oh, that's scary. Your channel. Okay, well, apparently I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay. If you go to our channel, you can see all of our Canvas corners that we've had so far. So you can watch any of those. You can watch site navigation pages, organization, discussions, assignments, etc. Look at you guys, we're live, it says. That's cool. Any questions? I don't want to take any more of your time than I have to. I want to be here for questions, but I will also happily give you time to play and explore. Just a reminder, below here in the YouTube description is this slide deck. And just so you know, everything we've ever talked about Canvas-wise is on this slide deck. So that's why a lot of these are skipped. That's just more so for me when I present, that I don't go to the wrong slides. But it is all here for you. Next time, we're going to talk quizzes, and I believe there's going to be a special guest if I can get her to agree to come. So we will see. If there are no other questions, I hope you all have a great day, and I hope you learned something new today. But also, I hope you get to spend some time outside today. I hear it's going to be sunny and warm. So I will stay on for just another minute to make sure that no last-minute questions come in. Otherwise, have a great day. Bye. Thank you. All right. Have a great day, guys.